Well, DD India correspondent Amritpal Singh is live now from Florida with updates. Amrit, when are we likely to see the results of Florida being declared?
Well, anytime, Mark, because officially the voting here was supposed to close at 7 Eastern time. It's past 7 Eastern time here. What happens here, like it happens in India, anybody who's inside the polling booth before 7 or at 7 gets to vote. So they're just waiting for a handful of people who were in the queues, because they were rather long queues, and as pardon me, happens in India. Excuse me.
Yeah, go
As
ahead.
happens in India, voter parties try and mobilize their voter base to get voters to vote in counties they feel their voters haven't come out enough. There were long serpentine queues again towards the evening. So there are voters inside polling booths, and very soon the counties would be calling in, and the state would be announcing the closure of the election in Florida. Mark.
Talking about those serpentine queues, Amrit, we've seen that, people generally probably get tired of standing in queues for a long period of time. Did, people leave queues or get fed up with the system? And if that ever did happen, who would it benefit?
I never met one in the day that I went around at different polling stations. It's relatively easier to vote here, though there were queues. That only speaks about the large numbers of people coming out, but there are facilities here. People come out with their families and friends to vote, so they're chatting up. It's a pretty festive occasion, like it's in India. So I didn't come across anyone who was saying that they're frustrated waiting in queues, Mark.
No, but isn't it a long voting process since they have to go through a huge ballot paper and have other questions asked of them, and each voter takes a reasonable period of time?
Yes, the ballot paper is long enough, mostly because they already know what's on the ballot. Either they're voting, of course, for the president, but they're also voting for their county officials, their county judges, their county sheriffs. All that is by vote. Their county other officials, their school boards. There are certain kind of referendums that are on the ballot. The House is going to election. So there are reps on the ballot. There are senators on the ballot in some cases. Because 1/3 of the senators are changed every 2 years. So, so they already know what is on the ballot beforehand. But yes, it's a long ballot. It's about 6 to 7 pages, depending on which county you are in, and you're more voting for multiple. You're voting for multiple options on the ballot paper. And so, in that sense, it does take a longer time than, say, in India, where you're voting for a particular MP, or you're voting in a different election, you're voting for a particular member of the Legislative Assembly. But some state congresses are also up for polls. So yes, it's a long ballot, but people generally make up their minds before they come to the polling booth as to who they want to vote for. But it does take, because there are multiple options they have to exercise, does take longer.
Right, Amrit, stay with us.